I want to bring in my boy for a little bit here. He's got a brand new book out. Jason Cole. Shut the F up. No, it doesn't say that. Shut up. Your kid is not that great. So I'm reading this thing here, and let me give you my takeaway. It's about not setting expectations too high for your child, isn't it? It's about being a realist and letting everything play itself out.
Don't sit.
We got a Tone. Let's see if we can reconnect here a little bit and see if we can reconnect.
Good. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Now I got you. Go ahead, Jace.
Okay. All right. So I would put it this way: it's about let your kids set their own expectations. Don't set the expectations for your kid based on what you want. Okay. Let them go have fun. Let them be passionate. If you've got a kid who's passionate about playing baseball or football or whatever, feed that passion, right? Like feed it. But don't tell them that they're going to be the next Tom Brady, right? And don't tell other people that they're going to be the next Tom Brady, because that's just not going to, like, that's setting them up for a trap. That's not fair to them and robs them of what the passion of playing is.
What was your takeaway conversation with Tom Brady Sr.?
I think Tom Brady Sr. tried to make things fun for his kids. My other takeaway conversation is, and this is kind of famous, that, Tom's famous for that, breaking down and crying and saying, I was going to become an insurance agent, right? Like his dream would be lost and he would become an insurance agent, which was not really an insult because his dad is an insurance agent and he's a very successful one, right? But when you're an insurance agent, your job is basically taking care of other people and assuring them that their life is going to be okay if things are a disaster, right? If you're really good at your job, you think about other people. And Tom Brady Sr. spent a whole life, and his wife too, thinking about other people, like other people who are on the team, like the other kids on the team. Like when Tom is playing basketball in a little Catholic high school in San Mateo, right? Like it wasn't about get him with better players and go get him recruited onto a better team with a lot of better kids. It's about make the kids around him better and make him care about those. And I think that plays out over the course of his career. Like you've seen that speech he gave at Tampa after, the ring ceremony, where he named every single guy on the roster and looked at him and pointed at him and talked about their contribution. Even if there was some guy who was, blocking PATs, right? He was pointing that out, right? And that to me is a sign of a guy, like you want to fight for that guy. You want to fight with that guy. You want to be next to him because, he recognizes you. And so that to me is the takeaway from my conversation with Tom Brady. It was always about other people in the process.
Jason, do you think he's struggling again by being away from the game, Brady, and that's why he's not giving direct answers when being asked? I mean, do I personally think he stays retired? I think he does, but I think also there's a part of him that's kind of like what Michael Corleone said in Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, they're pulling me back in again. But for whatever reason, I see that.
But it's not them. It's him, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Like this is a little boy's game, right? It's hard to walk away from playing a little boy's game, right? It's, and for some of us, it ends when we're really young and we discover we're just not good enough to play. Some, get through high school and college and play a little bit in the pros, but you never let go of wanting to play. Now practice and working out, okay, that's for the birds. But play, you always want to go play. And so that's the hard part that any human being has. And I think he struggles with. And just like I remember seeing Bernie Kosar the day he retired. Bernie struggled retiring. And Bernie was a backup at the end. But it's a struggle to let go of playing a boy's game. Or a little kid's game, I should say.
Jace, there's a story out there that a lot of folks don't know, and to what you're saying, when Jimmy Johnson got the Miami Dolphin job, Jimmy called up Troy Aikman, and it was this close that Aikman was going to come back, but because he left the game because of concussions, but he was going to come back and give it a go, but his better judgment kept him out of it. He said that I got to let this thing sit and go. And he said it was a struggle for 4 years for him after he retired because he thought every single July about going back and playing again. So it's truly, Jason, when you get to that point, it's truly the toughest divorce of your life because that's your true love and your first passion is the game.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, I still go out and try and play basketball. I still go out and try. Okay. It ain't nearly as pretty as it was 30 years ago. And it was a pretty nice game too, 30 years ago. But I can't do it anymore. But I try. And I didn't play at that level. I just played schoolyard hoops, right? And 100 pounds ago. But schoolyard hoops, and I enjoyed it, right? I miss it. I miss it terribly.
Absolutely. Jace, give me your takeaway from the owner of the Eagles. We don't talk about him a lot, but I think one of the things that has made this guy a great owner, boy, I'll tell you what, once he's vested in you, he totally believes in you. And look at how the Eagles put that salary cap together and them cap hits where they're paying. And Jace, I couldn't wait to tell you this. They did exactly what you said. Over the next 3 years, Jalen Hurts is getting 170 of that guaranteed $255 million at the front end of the contract so that they get cap release throughout the entire existence of that contract. They're theoretically doing what you said. They're paying them up front at the front end instead of the back end. And they give them a no trade.
Right, because this is, these next 3 to 4 to 5 years, and knock on wood, the kid plays 5. Knock on wood, the kid plays another 10 years, right? And really develops into that pure, true franchise guy that you can't be without. But he's a running quarterback, and it's the same thing with Josh Allen up in Buffalo. They paid him after year 3. Why? Because he runs a lot, and guys who run a lot get hurt. Lamar Jackson. I'm afraid he missed his opportunity to really get paid. It's a really tough thing to pay a guy who takes a lot more damage than your typical quarterback and is not a pocket guy and may have trouble transitioning to be that pocket guy. Now you may, and Jalen Hurts may become a pure pocket passer someday. That's not his pure game right now.
I asked Mark Schlereth this question yesterday. I said this, Jace, if you had to start your football team between Lamar Jackson, he's 26, and Jalen Hurts, who's 24, who would you take? I was shocked. He took Jalen. Who would you take?
I would take Jalen. I would.
Wow.
I think Jalen's a better thrower.
You both think that Jalen's a better football player than Lamar Jackson?
No, I think he's a better thrower. Okay, look, Lamar Jackson is a fascinating player, really, truly fascinating player. And I think that, I could come up with a coaching staff that would know how to win games with that guy, right, and figure it out. But I also recognize that the game is played from the pocket more than it's played from running it, okay? You affect the game more from the pocket because you have the entire field to attack. Jalen Hurts is better at that. So if I'm trying to formulate a team that can play consistent football and play from the pocket, I want the passer who's better from the pocket.
Finally, Jace, how do you cover the draft? What do you and how do you look at the draft? I can't see you sitting down going, hey, that guy from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, man, I'll tell you what, that guy would be a really great pick in the 6th round because
I'm not a scout.
Because you're a Hall of Fame voter, but how do you cover the draft? What are the things you take away say the following Monday after the draft gets completed, what storylines do you look at as you prepare for the draft?
Well, as a writer, traditionally, because there's stuff that you do write about and stuff you don't write about. The stuff that you do write about are more human interest stuff, like how does this guy fit, in traditional football stuff, right? Which everybody understands. That's the analysis. What I'm really looking at from a higher level, from sort of thinking about it as a general manager or, where is the team in the process of building, and what did it do to help or hurt its process of building a winning team? So I've always, I used to run into certain coaches like, oh, I want to have, a ton of draft picks and this and that. 15 guys every year. I'm like, well, if you got a veteran team where 48, 49, 50 of your guys already, why are you bringing in 15 new guys just to shuffle the deck? Right? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Are you trading away your picks to get out and move ahead to angle so that when you know you have to do the rebuilding, you're doing the rebuilding? Or are you just taking picks to take picks, even though you should maybe only be taking 3 or 4 or 5 guys in a given draft? Like, I study that kind of stuff, and I want to know which GMs are really thinking or which aren't. And if they're trying to build their defense, what kind of guys are they taking and how do they fit within the scheme that they're building? You're always looking at that. And who's taking quarterbacks late in the draft to try and develop something? Because as we found out, like Brock Purdy was one of the most important draft picks of the draft last year. And at the draft, everybody thought he was Mr. Irrelevant. Well, he was awfully relevant by the end of the year.
He surely was. Folks, it's really an interesting read. And, I think Jason had me in mind. He didn't make it like too wordy. So it's a really easy read. By the way, I got to tell you where this is really convenient. It's near the throne. This is a throne read.
That's absolutely a throne read.
I sat around. Let's see, I'm up to, he even numbered the pages. 53. I'm up to page 55 right now. So again, folks, it's a must read. It really is. It really is a great read. I hope you guys go out and buy it. Amazon, you can find it here. Here's the book right here by Jason Colders, an introduction by Tom Brady Sr. Jace, thank you for the copy. Brother, I'll catch you next week, brother.
All right, dude. We'll talk.
You got it. That's our friend Jason Cole. Make sure you get out and buy the book. You're not going to believe whose contract is going to be redone because of your boy in Philly. You were not more like a pamphlet. As my grandfather would say, this is a great shithouse read. Hit the like button. You're not going to believe who's going to get his contract redone. Hit the like button. I'll tell you next. Keep it here on the National Football Show.